Buckle up, folks. This podcast is all about diving into the good, the bad, and the ugly of our bodily, spiritual, and mental experiences. If you are not prepared to challenge your assumptions, laugh at yourself, laugh at me, or maybe even shed a tear or two, then you might want to look elsewhere. But if you're ready to get real, get honest, and get a little weird, then welcome to the Just Chrissy podcast. I'm your host, Chrissy McCammon. Welcome everybody to Just Chrissy, and I'm Chrissy, your host and owner of Rooted in Wellness. Today we are on day 2 of our 30-day reset. We are going to talk about vitamin D. Yesterday we talked about trace minerals, how important they are. I've been trying to think like what order to teach these in. They're all so important, so important. What is vitamin D? I guess that's the first question. What is vitamin D? Vitamin D. Let's talk about the vitamins, the discovery of vitamins. Guess which one they discovered first? If you guessed vitamin A, that would be correct. And next, vitamin B, good guess. And then next came C, and then came D. The only thing is that D is not actually a vitamin. It is a natural steroid hormone that controls or affects at least 2,700 genes in the body. And according to Jeff Bowles, a deficiency in it causes maybe 75% of dis-ease or imbalance in the body. Did you know our DNA has over 2,000 receptors for D3? I think we're probably going to talk about DNA in one of these 30 days. So how do you know who's at risk for deficiency? How do you know you're deficient? The further away from the equator you are, the more at risk you are. And there are lots of studies to show that. And you can do a blood test. So if you're in Northeast America, you most likely become vitamin D deficient in the wintertime. You can get a blood test to show you, and it will say if you're above 30 that you're good. But functional medicine says 60 to 80, and some people say even higher, but it must be balanced. And I'm going to talk about that more later too. How do you know, or what are the signs that you could be deficient? Bone pain, especially in the back, hips and ribs. Muscle weakness, aches and cramps. Increased risk of fractures. Joint pain. Fatigue, depression, anxiety, irritability. Like if it's like a couple months into winter, a month or two into winter, and all of a sudden you're feeling anxious or irritable or depressed or melancholy, and nothing has happened. Nothing has changed. You're just feeling kind of blown down. You probably want to get checked. It does happen to a lot of people. You also have an increased susceptibility to infections such as colds and flus, and in some cases, autoimmune disorders. Hair loss, skin problems such as eczema and psoriasis. Tooth decay, increased risk of urinary tract infections, and ladies, I know we hate this, weight gain. Now, we'll tell you, doctors like to prescribe vitamin D2. And you just need to know, like when I ask someone, well, what kind of D did you get? It's D2. It has always been the answer from the doctors. So just know that D2 is only 1/4 to 1/16 as effective as vitamin D3. Speaking of doctors, I am not one. I know, you guys are probably shocked. I am not allowed to diagnose, treat, or prescribe anything. If you have any medical concerns, you need to go to your personal care provider to discuss those concerns. But while we're talking about doctors, I do have this one doctor I want to bring up. Her name is Casey Means. Have you heard of her? She's a Stanford graduate. She and her brother are advising RFK and President Trump on the changes that are being made at the federal level, which I'm really happy about. But she received her undergraduate degree with honors from Stanford, where she was president of her class. So really, really smart. She then graduated from Stanford Medical School and trained in head and neck surgery at Oregon Health and Science University before leaving traditional medicine to devote her life to tackling the root cause of why Americans are sick. She very openly says all the time that she spent in medical school, she never got one single hour of training in nutrition. She wrote a great book. It's called Good Energy. If you're a reader, it might be one that you would like to read. The reason I bring that up is because I have found that if doctors are getting training, they may get 4.9 hours, if any, 4.9 hours to 20 hours of training in nutrition. This blows my mind. Our bodies are made and survive off of what we eat. We eat the food. It goes down through our digestive system into our pancreas. And in our pancreas, it is converted into life and put into the bloodstream. And the blood is life. And we only get 0 to 20 hours of training in that. Unbelievable. I really do think that most doctors get into the field because they love people and they do want to make a difference. And they don't realize, like she didn't realize until she was seeing patients and seeing this kind of system that was not good and people weren't getting healthier and the medical system was growing and that you're so deep in that you basically can't get out. Anyway, so the whole body exposed for 30 minutes produces 20,000 IUs of D on the skin. So don't go take a shower right after you're out in the sun. Wait 2 hours after the sun to shower with soap. You can wash off with just water if you want, but with soap because it'll wash that oil off your skin. Your face for 10 minutes a day in the sun, or if like I like to do 15 minutes, like the front of my body and the back of my body, because I love to warm my kidneys. Gives us a lot of vitamin D daily. And then dark skin, you need to know this, requires 3 times more. If you have dark skin, you're going to need 3 times more. Obese people have significantly less D3 because it gets sequestered into the fat. If you had gastric bypass, it can cause a deficiency in D. The minerals we talked about yesterday are dependent on D to get them into the cell. The UVB hits the skin, and then it meets a form of cholesterol under the skin and converts to vitamin D. That vitamin D is needed for calcium. Calcium is the king of the minerals. It has to enter the cell first, and then the other minerals follow the calcium into the cell. If you are just taking, like some people just take just plain vitamin D without any balance of anything else in it, that's not a good idea. I would never recommend that because you can get calcium toxicity in your body. The D is a remodeler of the bone and skin tissue, so it will pull the calcium, but you need the K2 to put it back where it belongs. You also need magnesium. For this, the body will use magnesium to do this conversion. Most people are magnesium deficient. So if you don't have magnesium in your body, you're going to experience things like lightheadedness and feeling like you're going to fall and a lot of other things. You need to have a balanced D3. Yes, it's more expensive, but if you don't, you're going to create other issues that you don't want. Now, like if you're just not feeling well for a week and you just take D3 during that time so you can just feel better, that's one thing. But if you're taking on a regular basis, which most people need to, then you need to have it balanced. Also know, like sitting inside of glass, like a glass door or your car where the sun's hitting you, is not giving you what you need. It's not going to give you the D3 because the UVB, the glass blocks those rays. And also know that skin cancer has not gone down with the use of sunscreen. Isn't that interesting? Let me say it again. Skin cancer has not gone down with the use of sunscreen. So slathering up with the sunscreen before you go out, you're just baking chemicals into your skin. I'm not saying don't ever use a sunscreen. If I'm at the ocean and I'm being a sun hoarder, then I will get my dose of D3 and then I will use something as natural as I can find so that I don't burn. Because also the other thing you don't want is you don't want to burn more than 6 to 8 times in your lifetime because of getting skin cancer. So know that children need sun. So build time in the sun. Go out for short bouts of time and build a little tiny tan. And then you can go out for longer periods of time once you get that tan built. I did have a couple things that Barbara O'Neill had written that I just loved and wanted to share. Let me find it here. She talks about the acidity and the alkalinity of the body, which we'll talk about in one of our 30-day periods, or teachings. But the sun, you only need an hour in the sun a day to help alkalize the body. And she also recommends that going out, like you'll hear some people say, go out between 10 and 2. But she recommends going out when the sun, when your shadow is as long as you are. I guess it's not as harsh during that time. And then she said that not all days are sunny, so maybe you want to be out more than 10 minutes at a time and do 15 minutes. I like to do 15, 20 minutes whenever I go out. I love this about sunshine. Sunshine is a potent fungus killer and can protect the body from cancer. Allow the cleansing, healing sunshine to touch your body and enter your homes. That's what you guys will see. I'll post, like, open your windows and let the sun in and let the fresh air in, because it cleans your home. Everybody, like, our homes are airtight. Our offices are airtight. We never go outside. We need to change that. The sun literally will purify the air and everything it touches. Your eyes need the sun. We should never look directly at the sun, but being outside allows the sun's rays to enter into the retina, and then they go into this neurochemical pathway, which hits the pineal gland and helps you to sleep better at night. It increases the release of serotonin, which is your happy hormone or your mood hormone. This is why you feel happier on a sunny day. If your body's not used to the sun, though, like I said, make it frequent. Go out. Begin with frequent bouts. And as you start to build a tan, then you can stay out longer. We were talking about sunscreens. Sunscreens contain so many toxic chemicals, and they also completely block the UV rays. So a suntan is developed by these short stints out in the sun. But if you lather on sunscreen and then you bake in the sun, I mean, that is all, like, your skin is your largest organ. You do not want to put all these chemicals in there. There's a book. Also know that your eyesight gets better with the sun. So stop wearing sunglasses all the time. My husband and I have noticed that our eyes have significantly improved with wearing sunglasses less and less and less. You will probably have to do this in short stints too until you build up. But we don't never wear sunglasses, but we have begun to wear them less and less and have noticed improvement. There's a book called Better Eyesight Without Glasses by Dr. William Bates, and he talks in there about this, which I think is great. You guys should read up on that. Did you know, for 300 years, children suffered and died from rickets, which was a bone disease in the 20s? They finally figured out that it was a vitamin D deficiency, so they got these kids out in the sun, and it started to disappear. Our children do not get enough. Our children do not get enough sun. Also, your kidneys, I thought this was interesting. Your kidneys help do the conversion of the D. But you got to keep your kidneys warm. So that's why, like, when I'm outside, I like to let the warm rays just hit my back. But if you allow your kidneys to become cold, this is how smart your body is. If you allow your kidneys to become cold on a regular basis, it forces the body to self-insulate by increasing fat cells in that area, producing what is known as the muffin top. Who has muffin top? Your kidneys are getting cold. You need to keep them warm. Dress warm when you go out. Keep them warm. Get in the sauna. Chilling the kidneys can be a source of many kidney disruptions. Chilling the kidneys can be the source of many kidney disruptions and problems today. If you want to read more about the vitamin D, I would recommend getting this book, The Miraculous Cure for and Prevention of All Diseases, What Doctors Never Learned, by Jeff, T as in Tom, Bowles, Bowles. It is excellent. It talks about vitamin D. It has all the studies in there. It talks about magnesium. It talks about K2. I think you guys would really enjoy it. I hope that each one of these short podcasts piques your interest, teaches you a little something that you can apply right now for free so that you can start moving continuing to move in a positive step in your wellness journey. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go get started.